Adam Friedman, Rivals.com, here with Tyler James of InsideNDSports.com, trying to go over the latest news with some Notre Dame commits and targets that we just got some updates on. I was on the road in New England and northern New Jersey for the last few days, and I know, Tyler, there are a lot of commits for Notre Dame on that in that stretch of land there, and a lot of targets that Notre Dame has been focusing in on lately. So, any particular one that you were most excited about when I told you about the players I was going to see?
Yeah, I think the one that I'm most interested in is Will Black. Certainly, someone that has already risen up the ratings and rankings for Rivals so far. Started out as a 3-star recruit, bumped up to a 4-star recruit. So excited you got to see him in person and see his development. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Notre Dame's got 3 commitments in Connecticut, that's not necessarily something you would think to associate with, but Notre Dame likes all those guys. So glad you were able to take some time to see them and get out. And I know you're doing a lot of legwork, but I know we certainly appreciate that. I want to start there with Will Black then. He's a Canadian former hockey player. Like I said, you bumped him up to a 4-star rating in February. Do you think he will continue to climb in the rankings after what you saw from him this past week?
Yeah, I do. He's really progressed nicely. He's filled out his frame well. He's about 6'5" or so, and very little really bad weight on him. This guy is in really good shape, and he's much more powerful than I remembered him being. He's had some good quickness. Like you mentioned, he's an athlete. He has a hockey background, and we don't see a ton of hockey guys, move over to being a football prospect. But Will, when you're that big, skating around on the ice, I think the writing's kind of on the wall, to move over and find some space on the football field. But he's going to be able to play tackle or guard at the next level. Really like the way he's developed physically. He's got quick feet, but he moves. And I really hate using cliche phrases like this, but the functional movement that he displayed and just how advanced he is in that area is really impressive. He moves quickly, he moves powerfully, he's got really good feet, really good hands, he understands blocking schemes, he does a nice job adjusting to the quickness of the defensive lineman he's lined up against, and really he's just physically ready for the next level. Going to be very interested to watch him take on more and more speed rushers at this level to get prepared for what he's going to see at the next level. But yeah, I do expect Will Black to continue to rise in the rankings, and certainly within the Rivals 250 when this next update comes at the end of the month.
Yeah, being put on skates isn't what you want for an offensive lineman. I think he puts guys on skates as an offensive lineman, to use a hockey cliche there. But a couple of the other guys from Connecticut are at Brunswick School in Greenwich. 4-star safety Ethan Long and 3-star offensive tackle Matty Augustine. Notre Dame is fond of comparing Long to Kyle Hamilton, but the staff isn't necessarily shy about making that comparison to the safeties they're recruiting. What do you think of Long's potential going into his senior year?
I wouldn't say he's Kyle Hamilton, but
That's probably a safe assumption. Yeah.
yeah, maybe in the same mold, we'll say. He's got the ability to cover the deep center, but he's physical enough and has good enough instincts to come up on the ball and play closer to the line of scrimmage when necessary. He's got good coverage skills. Again, going to be interesting to watch him go up against more advanced route runners, faster outside receivers, and just understand how he's able to adjust to their speed at the high school level and then going over to the college level. But still about the same physically. He hasn't added a ton of weight or muscle mass. Originally, I thought that he would move more into a linebacker role and play closer to the line of scrimmage when I first saw him a little over a year ago, and still looks like a safety right now. So, and he's pretty adamant about that's what he wants his position to be. He's not opposed to lining up as a nickel or something like that, but his skill set still lends itself to being a safety at the next level.
Yeah, kind of long and skinny. I can sort of see the comparison to Kyle Hamilton in terms of his like shape, but obviously the athleticism is a high standard to reach when we're talking about Kyle Hamilton. Matty Augustine committed to Notre Dame in February, a little more than a month after Ethan Long did. His teammate. How he has some athleticism as well, like Will Black being a basketball player. We have him rated as a 3-star recruit. What can he do to maybe rise into the 4-star category as a senior?
Yeah, I think he's well on his way to becoming a 4-star prospect. Last year, as a converted basketball player and really focusing on football, you could see the potential there. The He had the long speed. As a converted player, he could cover ground, but he didn't necessarily have the quick feet that you look for as an offensive lineman. And during this in-person update, or this in-person evaluation, I could really see the progress there. He's
Mhm.
much quicker with his feet. He has really good power in his lower body. His lower body is almost developed, has definitely developed faster than his upper body, I think, at this point,
Okay.
which is kind of unusual when that's not exactly what you see all the time. But I really like what he's been able to do in the weight room. It's gotten him closer to being field ready. It's going to be interesting to watch him develop again in the upper half and understanding how to use his hands effectively, and timing all of that up with his footwork and becoming a better pass rusher against more elite pass blocker against elite pass rushers, I should say. So I do think he's on his way to earning that 4th star. And if he continues to improve at this rate, we could be looking at a pretty impressive offensive lineman for Notre Dame.
Well, that's encouraging news for Notre Dame. You also spent some time in New Jersey, where there are a couple of Notre Dame recruits of note in the 2025 class. First is 3-star wide receiver Elijah Burris, who committed to the Irish back in February. He's the son of former Michigan State and NFL wide receiver Plaxico Burris. So plenty of headlines that come along with that. I know Elijah Burris has been active on the camp circuit as well, so you probably maybe had the chance to see him a couple times. How much improvement do you think we'll see from his junior to senior season at DePaul Catholic?
Yeah, I've seen him, I think, 3 or 4 times now this off season, and really each time I've seen him, he's gotten better and better. With last I saw him was at the Rivals camp in Charlotte. His dad was there. He's not his dad, he's not the massive 6'4",
Right.
6'5" receiver who's going to win a ton of jump balls and push defensive backs around, but Elijah has become a much more impressive route runner over this offseason, and it's always been obvious how smooth a runner he is. He's got good hands. He's not afraid of any competition or physical defensive backs. And this workout that I saw from him on Wednesday, it was in the pouring down rain, so I'll cut him a little slack there. But he does have a presence about him on the field. He does look for the tough matchups, and if he's able to get a free release off the line of scrimmage, there's a good chance he's winning that rep. He can, when he's able to open up that stride, he's able to really pull away from defensive backs and create the space necessary for his quarterback to get the ball to him. It'll be interesting to watch him this season, though. Too, I mean, his production is going to solely depend on the play of his quarterback. And so we'll see how that turns out this year, but has become a much more technically savvy prospect on the outside.
And St. Joseph Regional has been kind to Notre Dame in recent years, sending defensive lineman Howard Cross III and running back Audric Estime to the Irish. Notre Dame's interested in another prospect from that school, 4-star defensive back Jir Joseph in the 2025 class. The Irish have recently shifted from recruiting him as a cornerback to a safety. What kind of prospect would you describe Joseph as, and where do you think his recruitment is heading?
I think his as a defensive back, he brings a ton of versatility to the secondary. He's got the ability to match up man to man and use his size. He's every bit 5'11", 6 foot. He's got good length, has plenty of speed and burst, and I'm excited to see him against more elite receivers as well. There's not a ton of them in northern New Jersey or on the schedule that he plays, but he does have experience against some guys. And he plays against Quincy Porter year in and year out. So fun to see that matchup. And he has the skills to play safety. He has the skills to play corner. We'll see how he develops once he gets to the next level. He does have a fairly lean frame at this point, so we'll see how his body develops with that Notre Dame strength and conditioning program. But I'm really excited to see what he's able to do. We'll see him at some point here this off season, and just a player that I'm excited to learn more about. We haven't seen him a lot up close, and just in the games, the teams don't really go at his side a whole lot. But surely a guy that impresses on the hoof, that's for sure.
All right. Well, that's all I got for you, Adam. I appreciate you taking time to talk to us about these Notre Dame recruits. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I like Notre Dame's chances for Joseph. You know, they're getting him on campus for an official visit. I believe it's the second weekend in the period there. That's June 7th. You know, Notre Dame, Penn State, Stanford, right there in the mix. And you know, I do like these linemen. They're both kind of, you know, on the rise in my mind. I wish we'd see a little bit more of them during the off season, but it's quite a trek for those guys to get to any of the events anywhere on any circuit during
Right.
the off season. So we'll keep a close eye on them here this fall. But excited about this Notre Dame recruiting class. There's plenty to learn about them during the off season as we move into the fall too. Hopefully they'll be at some of the events in the late summer. But you know, that's all for me. I'm National Recruiting Analyst and Rankings Director Adam Friedman, and thank you, Tyler, for taking some time to talk to me about these guys. Remember to follow all of our content on Rivals.com. You can follow us on the social media channels, and of course, subscribe to the Rivals.com YouTube channel. Thanks very much.